Oh my fuck, we're at 82 subscribers.
Yes, thank you all very much for all the new subscribers. We're delighted to have you on board. And right now there's a bunch of news going on with the Batman vs. Superman movie, which everyone I think was... was everyone at all excited for this movie? Hasn't there been a lot of speculation that that movie was going to be bad right from the get-go? I mean...
Well, it's too smart for Marvel fans, and anyone who says it's bad is obviously a Marvel fanboy.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just trying to give constructive criticism to a film they thought that could have been good.
Yeah, I mean, now, first off, we have to preface this right now. We have not seen the movie. I'm going to see the movie tomorrow, unfortunately, due to my...
I'm not seeing it.
You're not seeing it at all? Is this a protest?
No, I refuse to. I refuse to see anything Zack Snyder related to the DC universe.
Now, listen, that is a fair argument right there. I don't know why they thought this, but for some reason...
We put all our faith in Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I don't know what's with that, but they did that. They put all their faith into Zack Snyder, and when you see what he does when he's on his own, because Zack Snyder's been involved in some good comic book movies, but here's the problem. If you notice, the movies he's done that are good, he copied the script from the comic book almost word for word, and then on top of that, also the direction was almost the same as in the comic book. Like when he did Watchmen, that was almost frame for frame, same as the comic book, and they took the Alan Moore's script. It was Alan Moore that did that, right? It was Alan Moore.
I believe so.
Yeah, I can't remember. I haven't read that in like 15 years. So they just broke it down to where it was in a passable movie form. So when you start to deconstruct that, you realize Zack Snyder doesn't do much when it comes to actually creating an original film. And a good comparison is he created what I believe was an original license, Sucker Punch. Did you see that movie?
I saw it. I could tell you I saw it. I saw moving frames on a screen that claimed to be Sucker Punch.
That was an awful movie. That was horrible.
My mother walked out 3/4 of the way into the film.
Yeah, that's actually, I would applaud her, except that took her too long. She should have left in the first 15 minutes. I, like a sucker, actually finished that movie all the way to the awful twist ending that anyone who was watching it for more than 20 minutes knew was coming. It was so hacky.
Well, the entire fucking film was a dream sequence.
It's so awful. And half the movie was in slow motion still, as Zack Snyder loves to show off that he has a high-def camera, like anyone with an iPhone has. It's not impressive. You don't need to do that. But
what's impressive is filming an entire film on a camcorder and it turning out to be good.
Yeah.
A la the prank films.
Yeah, those were great movies, actually. But those were a blast. See, that's something we're kind of missing in this day and age is fun movies. It's a very fun movie, and that I remember that was...
No, we have to have emo superheroes, don't you know?
Yeah, they're all
That's
just
what
sad.
Focus tested really well.
Yeah, they're all sad and dreary and depressed, which is what the... See,
Do
that's
you bleed?
I'm seeing...
Well, you will.
I'm seeing this movie tomorrow, but I am so skeptical about whether or not I'm going to like it. Now, by the way, I have gone into
Try to go
movies,
in with an open mind. Try to go in as unbiased as possible.
But hold on. Let me tell you, though. I've gone into movies kicking and screaming, thinking I was going to hate the movie, and I actually liked it. That I am not above having my mind changed. I have gone... this is a silly comparison, but you remember that animated movie Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah.
It was okay. I ridiculed that movie for months coming up to its release. I thought it looked like the stupidest thing, a Kung Fu Panda with Jack Black. I was like, that looks so dumb. And I saw it and I went, that's a pretty good animated feature. It wasn't bad. It didn't... I actually liked it, and I watched it again. And so I have gone into movies ready to hate them. And it's happened to me a lot, where I was ready to hate the movie, and I saw it, and I went, that was really good, or it was really funny. I didn't expect that. And they've changed my mind. So I can go into
that
this
happened
movie.
to me with Three Stooges.
Yeah, that was an all right movie. Everybody wanted to hate on that movie. That was actually an all right comedy, and it was a pretty good Three Stooges movie, which is crazy to hear. But back to my original point, the fact of the matter is you see an original movie like Sucker Punch. That was Zack Snyder directed that. He did the screenplay. He came up with the story. He was the producer. That movie sucked, and it's sitting at I think like a Metacritic score of 33. Rotten Tomatoes, it's at 23. That movie stunk. I remember I was dozing, and I thought it was so ironic that it was a dream sequence, and it was a movie you fall asleep through. because I was like, I'm not sure if I actually saw that movie or if I was
You
sleeping.
could sleep through the dream sequence and you'd get the same result out of
Yeah,
it.
because at the end of that movie, spoilers, at the end of that movie, the whole movie, it takes place inside of an insane asylum, and then you realize that, like, this girl, I think it was where all her friends were imaginary that were in throughout the whole movie, and then at the end, she's imagining that she escaped the asylum, but actually she's getting a lobotomy.
So wonderful. It's
Yeah.
not a bleak ending at all.
Yeah, so it's like, and then, you know,
I think Zack Snyder just doesn't know how to be happy. I think that's what he's trying to tell us through his films. He just doesn't know how to have fun.
Nothing's happy, nothing's fun. But that movie was such garbage. All the fight sequences that just happened for no reason, and they seemed so pointless. And I can't even really remember what was the goal of that movie. They were trying to get out of the asylum where they were used as
They all thought
prostitutes.
they were wrongly put in the asylum.
Yeah, and then they were used as prostitutes from this asylum. It was just fucking stupid. Like this quasi 1950s style movie that was
But then there
retro.
was Japan, and then there was mechs, and then there was dragons, and it's like a clusterfuck
Yeah.
of artist ideals.
Yeah,
I really want to see what the concept art looked like. Like, is it like in code? Is there the artist saying like "help me," like written in code across the
Yes.
painting?
Yes, it was probably something like that. But the point of that is that Zack Snyder, he has done movies before where he's not just copying someone's idea. He's coming up with an original idea and he's doing everything himself, and it's not good. So I don't know why they would entrust the license of Superman and Batman. And screw you, I don't care if you're a super DC fan. DC only has two good characters, Batman and Superman. The other 487 no one cares about.
Plastic Man.
Don't they have Rubber Band Man? Is that theirs or is that Marvel?
I think that's Marvel.
Is
I
that-
think that's Marvel taking the piss out of DC.
Yeah, it's absolutely awful how they have so many characters. And I mean, really, like, it literally goes. Batman is, in my opinion, number one. Superman's number two, or they share the number one slot. Then you have Wonder Woman, and then there's a steep drop to Aquaman. I mean, it's like he's so.
There's a slight
rapidly-
increase to the Flash.
Yeah. There's such a rapid decrease in quality of characters.
But then you have the Teen Titans, who are awesome.
Yeah, they are. And aren't they making a Teen Titans movie?
I think.
I thought I heard
hope.
that. I thought I heard that, or maybe I just dreamt it when I was watching Sucker Punch. I'm like, wow, I'm trying to imagine what would a good movie be like. Well, Teen Titans is fun; it's enjoyable. I'd like to be watching that. I don't want to.
Well, there was that Trouble in Tokyo film that they made.
I don't know
Not
what
film, the animated movie.
Yeah, when the show was on before it became Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but I mean, I'm already hearing all this news now. Of course, Batman versus Superman opened at 170, like a huge 170 million opening. But remember, another bad movie had a huge opening, and that was called Star Wars Episode 7. So that doesn't mean anything. No retort. That gets no retort, Haggard.
Did you say something? I just heard. I was imagining hitting someone in the back of the head with a
Yes,
rifle.
If you're at all curious about our opinions on Star Wars, you got to check out I'll put a video in the description. That's our
Just
debate.
link it to hardcore gay porn,
we're not
and you'll
linking-
basically get the
there-
same idea.
No gay porn. No gay porn. I don't even know what that implies, Haggard. You're a strange person. So the movie opened big, but it's Batman versus Superman. That's of course gonna happen. Like it doesn't. That name carries. Those names carry so much weight that'll always pull audiences right in.
It carried for me about as much weight as a pound of feathers.
It's still a pound. What do you mean?
Yeah, but that's 1 pound of feathers.
Oh. Should have said like a pound of hot air or something. I don't even know what you mean by this. I'm confused now.
I'm saying it's not going to put my ass in a seat.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah. You refuse to see it because
I refuse to see. I'm sorry. Just next film, take away Zack Snyder. I'll see it. Whomever directs it.
Yeah.
You could get the crackhead who lives down the street to direct it, and I'll still see it. Just
I mean, literally,
anyone but Zack Snyder.
when I go see the movie and I ask one for Batman versus Superman, I'm going to say this is under protest. Like, I am begrudgingly going to see this movie just because it is a big event. And we've all been waiting, like 15, 20 years for a movie like this. And it's always been going around like, hey, do you think they're going to make a Batman versus Superman movie? That'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. So, I mean, everyone's been waiting for this, but the response has been really bad so far. I mean, it's really disappointing. And I don't know why they would pick this guy out of so many people out there. I don't know why they would pick it. They should have. I mean, it would have been a better.
They should have gone back Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan proved he can make a good superhero movie.
Yeah.
He made three good films.
And I think it would have been great if they continued from what they had already established in the Christian Bale movies. If they had continued with Christian Bale as Batman. And then,
let's not
fix the voice.
Praise Christian Bale. Ben Affleck's been getting a lot of praise as Batman, so if they just swapped Bale for Affleck, then it would have been fine.
Well, I'm not bashing Affleck. I haven't seen his portrayal yet. I'll be seeing that one tomorrow. But what I'm saying is that we've already got this established universe with the Christian Bale movie. They could have then done another one where they introduced Superman and then gone off and made the Superman spinoff and then twirled it around to this now. And it would have been, I think, a better setup than this clunky, sudden, like, drop things together and make it all one. It's like, what? What's going on here? I mean, out of nowhere. Again, Marvel did this so much better where they spent years building up to the Avengers movie. I mean, years. They would just, at the end of an Iron Man movie, there would be some sort of mention after the credits. At the end of the Incredible Hulk movie, there was a mention at the end of the credits. So we were all getting so excited. But again, DC probably couldn't do that because they don't have enough interesting characters. So
Would you honestly pay to see a Cyborg film?
That's a tough question. Because
we're not talking Teen Titans Cyborg. We're talking Justice League Cyborg.
I know. Like, that actually could be an interesting character because Cyborg always had this issue of, he was much a robot as he was a human, and he was limited by his robot abilities as much as he was enhanced by them because, he had this, they could only do so much, and then his parts could break or become dismantled and things like that. So, and then, when I watched the Teen Titans series, there was an episode where he managed to use his humanity to make his technology stronger. So there's actually some depth to that character, and that could be a good character. Ironically, there's no depth to Seaman, even though he goes all the way to the bottom of the ocean, or whatever the hell his name is. Aquaman.
I'll argue that point with you.
Yeah, I just think that it would be difficult which characters they pick. And they've already tried to do some. Remember, they did the Green Lantern movie? That's just gone away. That's just disappeared.
They're making another one, Green Lantern Corps.
Oh, yeah?
No Ryan Reynolds this time. Ryan Reynolds jumped ship to Marvel, thank God.
Yeah, he decided to go somewhere where it'll actually succeed.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know what? I'll just do something that actually has staying
someone
power.
about to get aboard the Titanic, like, well, God, I just realized the ship's going to sink. I'm out.
I'll take a train. Never mind. We'll stay on the land where nothing's going to go bad. See, that is, to me, really the issue, because these comic book movies cost so much money. So they got to figure out how to make these characters have a wide appeal. I think Wonder Woman could have had a successful movie, and I guess they're working on one. So
they are. Yeah. So, from what images people have seen so far, everyone's cautiously optimistic.
See, why is it that I don't feel that caution when a Marvel movie comes out? I mean,
because Marvel has carefully calculated what they're going to do for the next 30 years.
Yeah, see, that's the issue, is that DC just seems like they are wildly saying, we'll do this and that, and we'll catch up with Marvel in a couple years. Like, no, you got to take it slow and do the right thing. So, I mean, again, I can't... good or bad, I can't wait to see the movie tomorrow, because I think it's going to be a very interesting experience.
Worst case scenario, you just watch a bunch of people punch each other on a screen for like 3 hours, and then you go home.
Yeah, so... Well, what I'm hearing is that this movie is largely boring. So, I have no clue. I did watch a few scenes from Man of Steel recently on YouTube, because I never saw that movie. I had no interest in it. And I saw the opening.
That's the exact reason I don't want to go see Batman versus Superman. I went to see Man of Steel.
Yeah, it looked like I was watching it, and I was like,
I
what?
came out of it hating Superman, and I used to love Superman.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not a huge Superman fan myself. I was just never that interested in the character. But when I was watching the movie, I was like, why does this feel like a Gillette razor commercial? Everything looks so sharp and sleek, and it's metallic, and I'm like, what are they introducing, a new Superman razor? What is going on here?
At the end of the film, Superman turns to Zod. You know what you don't have? The Gillette Razor Pro. With replaceable cartridges, so every shave feels as smooth as American justice.
Now, maybe you're wondering why I didn't finish that movie when I started to watch it, because the whole movie is up on YouTube. Because in the first 5 minutes, Superman's dad goes to the council, and he talks about how the core of the planet is being depleted and Krypton's going to fall apart. And he said, how could you do this? And they said, well, what were we supposed to do? We needed the power. We had to take power from the core of the planet, or else we wouldn't have been able to sustain our resources. And then Zod comes in, and he says, this council has been disbanded. On whose authority? One of the council members said, and he just blasts the bitch, and she melts in her clothes. And then Superman's dad is like, what are you doing? And I'm thinking to myself, Zod's right. Because Zod is killing the council. That's killing the planet. I'm instantly on Zod's side. He's like, we have to stop them. They've destroyed Krypton. And I'm thinking, yes. How is he the villain? This guy makes perfect sense. You can't allow... Listen, you know who the heroes of World War II were? The German soldiers that tried to kill Hitler. Those were the heroes. Zod is a hero. Like, what? Instantly, I was like, this movie sucks. I couldn't finish it after that. I was like, I'm instantly thinking to myself, this should be Zod's heroic movie. This shouldn't be Superman. This should be called Zod, and it should be his struggle to save Krypton.
And really, the fight scene at the end, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. There would have been no mass genocide of Metropolis if fucking stupid, whatever his father's name is, Kal-El.
Yeah, I think it's
Kellogg's.
He's Kellogg's now.
Yeah, if Kellogg's didn't send Kal-El to Earth, if he just sent him to the fucking moon, Zod would have never hunted him down, and there would be no Metropolis genocide. So no one would be arguing this.
Yeah, so instantly, as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, the guy who's the bad guy is in the right, and the guy who's the good guy is in the wrong. Why would I finish this movie? And I just turned it off. I was like, this is stupid. Instantly, it's dumb. I can't finish it. I was just thinking, Zod is the good guy here. How did they screw this up so bad? I guess the moral of the movie is, for no matter how wrong authority is, allow it to continue.
Yeah.
So I instantly was like, okay, this is just garbage, and I didn't finish it. So, I mean, maybe you could say it's not fair, but I don't care. I'm not going to watch a movie that's that stupid right off the bat. By the way...
How dare you have a human opinion?
Just to overanalyze the first 5 minutes again. You know that weird metal thing that follows Hal around, and he talks to his wife through it?
The probe?
Is that what it is? The probe? That
I don't know. It's just a probe.
Yeah, and
just call it a probe.
And they have these three-dimensional phone calls with each other on it? Well,
yeah.
In that opening scene... He calls his wife after he overthrows Zod's loyal soldiers, and then he can see his wife's face through it, but that's all he can see. Well, it's presumed that's all she can see of him, but yet somehow she sees behind him and says, look out, and then he shoots somebody.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, wait a minute, how can she see more than us, but we can't see as much as her? It's supposed to be the same device. She's using the same device.
Maybe he has an iPhone 5... Maybe he has an iPhone 6S and she has like an iPhone 4.
And by the way, this super highly technologically evolved planet, and they don't have implants yet, so that they can just read each other's minds and say, "Hey, sweetie, I just killed some guys. Make sure you got dinner to go." Like he can't. He can't do. He actually has to
BRB wife, I'll be sending our son to Earth.
He has to tell this weird thing that follows him around. I don't even know what it was, and it looks stupid. He had to tell this thing that follows him around, "Call my wife." I mean, really? That's kind of clunky. You think they would be better. And by the way, everything I saw, this is the first 5 minutes. It's all I saw of this movie. Everything I saw, I'm like, what is this, Lord of the Rings meets Avatar? What's with all these weird fantasy realm creatures?
They really had no place in the film.
No, it was so weird.
They looked cool, but they really had no reason to be there. Yeah. I'm sorry, I just scanned through my brain for the right word.
Yeah, it was just weird. I was just like, it looked like the intro cutscene to World of Warcraft. When I was watching it, I remember when I installed that game on my computer many years ago, and this is kind of what it reminded me of. These weird, like, CGI bison that look different from the ones we have on Earth. And I was just like, okay, I guess this is Krypton? I never really thought
you need that establishing shot to tell people you're on Krypton. Otherwise, everyone's going to think, why did Earth blow up?
I never associated...
Why do people have that little of faith in the general audience?
See, that's what pisses me off. We're not dumb. We're a smart audience. Don't just go out there and say, oh, well, we got to overanalyze it or over-explain everything. It's like, just keep it straightforward. If I see a bunch of guys in Superman suits and they have different letters because their names, that's the start of their name, in the Superman triangle, I understand very rapidly I'm not on Earth and this is Krypton. And when they're talking about Krypton, I figure they're Kryptonians. Like, I mean,
you could still have the establishing shots, just not so goddamn many.
And by the way, his dad runs away from the evil Zod soldiers.
And by the way, his dad's Russell Crowe.
Yeah, where the fuck did that come from? That was like, I was so drunk. I was watching that, and I was like, why didn't they cast him as Superman? I would have loved Russell Crowe as Superman. He would have been great.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I would have so went for that. They should have casted him as that, and they didn't.
I mean, poor Henry Cavill, he did the best he could with the awful script he was handed.
See, that's the interesting part. I've never seen him as Superman before because I didn't make it that far. I couldn't finish it.
The best part of Man of Steel is Henry Cavill because, I mean, he looks like Christopher Reeves. Like, he looks like good old American boy, raised on Earth.
You remember that poor guy who did Superman Returns? Where the hell is he at now? He got the rawest deal out of any Superman. And
what if that was Henry Cavill?
Even the one that got crippled. He had a better deal than that guy in 2007.
Christopher Reeves are going to make you walk again in a Super Bowl commercial.
They did?
Yeah, wasn't it like a commercial that they did that?
I missed the Super Bowl.
Not this year. It was like way back when.
Oh, I don't remember, dude. I don't keep track of Super Bowl commercials. I just watch them and then I, go and eat hot dogs and fart. So, awful hot dog Super Bowl farts, they're the worst. Yeah, so that movie was so bad, and I could just tell that the writing was screwed in the first 5 minutes. It just made no sense. So, and I think to myself, you get paid millions of dollars for this. How do you screw it up so bad? How does that happen?
You never have read the source material, don't understand the characters you're working with, and you have no interest in the subject matter.
But I mean,
there you go.
Like literally, and I'm not talking about this like I'm a hardcore Superman fan. I'll flat out say I've only read like 3 or 4 issues of a Superman comic book. I've never been a Superman fan. I mean, it's not even a matter of source material, just complete continuity flubs and weird things that make no sense in the first 5 minutes. I mean, I'm just like, how did you screw up your own logic that fast? So,
I really should edit what I said a little while back that, not a little while, like earlier in this podcast that I came out of it hating Superman. I just came out of it hating Zack Snyder's Superman.
Yeah, see, that's the issue. It's not Superman. It's just Zack Snyder. I just don't get it. I wonder why this is happening. I mean, what did humanity do to deserve our 2 best heroes being put in a movie together under this man's hand? So, I just don't. But I personally not liked Zack Snyder for a long time, even though there are several movies of his that I like, only because the movies of his that I like are pretty much complete copies of the comic book he did. Like, You
could have just animated the scenes and just told me it was a motion comic.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's
what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and I think it's because I think the guy kind of lacks vision. I mean, I think that's what it boils down to, which is why he's a good director for doing those copies of comic books into cinematic format.
If this was a direct translation, I'm sure tomorrow, whenever you go see it, I'm sure you'll say it would have been better as a direct translation of Batman Returns by way of Dark Knight Returns, by way of Death of Superman.
Yeah, that might
Doomsday's
be the case.
There.
That might be the case. Certainly. It wouldn't be better if they copied the Dark Knight. What is it? The Dark Knight Rises was the sequel to Dark Knight Returns.
I think.
Yeah, that was really one of the worst comic books I ever read. Actually, I know that's maybe that's a controversial statement. I have no clue. I absolutely hated that one. It was so bad. I think that was when Frank Miller really started to go off the deep end. Because it was like he got this weird, you could tell in it, I read it about 3 years ago, you could tell in it he got this weird fascination with anime. Like out of nowhere there was like so much anime influence into this story, and then there was so much of it told in this format of you watching TV and all the craziness going on in popular media. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Where's Batman? I mean, it took forever to get to Batman, and everything in between wasn't interesting. I was just like, oh my God, get to it. It was like, I mean, literally, I would have cut 80 pages out of that. I thought that graphic novel
just cut
sucked.
the comic book out. It's just a cover and a back page.
Yes, Batman was on it. That was the only good parts. The cover and the back page. That was the only good parts of that entire novel.
Oh, and all the ads inside so you can get your free X-ray specs.
Did anyone ever get those? I would love to have a pair of those.
I'm sure someone out there still has their coupon.
Yeah, that's such an old bygone thing. So, oh, you know what? Speaking of that, we were just hearing about how GameStop is falling by the wayside slowly but surely, and I think that's
no
expected.
More 34-cent trade-ins.
Now, what game did you trade in that they gave you 34 cents for?
The Darkness.
The Darkness. Well, that was too much. You should have paid them to take that piece of garbage.
It wasn't garbage. It was a good game.
I didn't like it. But now how much were they selling it for?
$20.
Okay.
At the time I was trading it in.
That's a complete jip. I don't know how. Wait, did you give them a case with the book?
Yeah.
Are you sure you weren't mugged?
I'm sure.
That sounds like a robbery. Like he pulled that out of your hands and he just happened to accidentally drop some change out of his pocket. Like you weren't paid. That was a mugging. And he was wearing a GameStop shirt. Wow, that's awful. Okay. Well then, I didn't realize that. Well, there's news going out right now that GameStop has lost some profits this year, and they're expected to lose more. And it's supposed to be a big loss. And it's just, I mean, what do you expect? So many people use Steam. So many people are direct downloading their games.
Steam sales forever. I've got 98 games in my inventory.
PC elitist.
Yeah.
Yes. PC Super Race, Master Race. Of course, it's not. That's not me. I'm a Mac Master Race. I play my games on Mac. And it is possible, by the way. I've told people that, and they said, I thought Macs couldn't play games. So they can play games. They just don't make a lot of games for them. But, I mean, I can get games that are out
That's
right
the nice thing about the Source engine. It always works on Mac.
No. So, but, I mean, is that really... They're talking about it, and I was reading this article about how they're going to be losing that. And, I mean, sooner or later, they're going to start losing stores. But after we saw the collapse of Blockbuster, didn't it seem obvious that...
Yeah,
I mean,
GameStop was the next to fall.
Well, because, I mean, it's just... Everything doing physical media is slowly going away. Like, I remember when I used to go into my local Best Buy, there would be rows and rows of DVDs. Like, literally, shelves 6 feet, 7 feet high that went for 20 feet, and then there was 10 rows of them. Just endless amounts of DVDs and eventually Blu-rays. But because everybody just watches everything on Netflix now, or they download it, it's like my DVD section at Best Buy is so small. It's about 3 rows. And they're like 5 feet tall.
Dude, my anime section is like 6 Blu-rays that are sometimes intermixed with the rest of the DVDs.
I know. I sometimes struggle to find the anime in there. It used to be endless amounts of anime at Best Buy, and I struggle so much to find it. I
remember when I first came to Houston, I went to that Best Buy. The anime section, it had its own labeling and everything.
Yeah.
Now it's near the children's section, but now it's not near the children's section. It's next to the CDs, but not next to the CDs.
Yeah, that's great. There's the anime is right next to the kids' animation, so a parent accidentally buys their kid Kite, and there's a rape scene in that.
Or by their hormonal 13-year-old boy, High School DxD. Yep. Little Billy's gonna sure love that.
I never saw that. What's that one?
It's a booby anime.
Oh, okay. That's great. But you see, anime suffers the most because of this. Because anime, I'm sorry, but I think we anime fans really screw over anime when it comes to arriving in America. Because we download so much shit. I mean, we're such a tech-savvy group that we've been downloading anime for years off the internet because it took so long to come out in America, so people just watched it with subtitles. And guess what? By that point, you've already consumed it. You don't feel like consuming it again. So it's the first one to suffer as technology gets more rapidly available to everybody because we're all watching it. And then it's a year before it's supposed to be released in America. It was only Space Dandy changed that, where they premiered in America and Japan at the same time, or appeared in America first. Was it America first?
It appeared at the same time.
Oh, the same time? Yeah. That's like the first time that's ever happened in anime, right?
Yep, and I own Space Dandy Season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray, baby.
Yeah, baby. So
I'm not sure why you're doing the Duke voice.
You said baby, so I just thought I would go with it. I like the Duke.
All right, well, you rock it out, man.
I like the Duke. Holy shit, has it been 30 minutes already?
Wow,
Holy
really?
crap. Okay. Anyways, yeah, back to, let's see, the anime. Yeah, I just think that anime suffers because, unfortunately, I think we as fans really, we're so eager to consume it that we don't think about the repercussions and the ramifications of getting it as fast as possible, which doesn't necessarily mean you paid for it. So then they say, well, there's no money in it in America. There's not enough money, so we're not going to make it widestream, and the Best Buy section gets smaller, and then very rarely do animes go to the theaters in this country. I mean, only yesterday just came out, and let's see.
The Psycho-Pass movie came out sometime in March. I remember I went to Anime Matsuri, and they offhandedly mentioned something about it.
Wait, that had a movie?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would love to see that. I loved that series. I thought that was a great anime. That was one of my favorite animes in like the last 5 years.
I watched like the first 2 episodes, enjoyed it, and I just haven't gone back to it. Dude. Not out of spite or anything, just I think I might suffer from entertainment ADD.
Yeah. It's a really good show, man. You really got to check it out. So, but I mean,
I enjoyed what little bit I watched.
Yeah, it's really good. When you get deeper and deeper into it, it gets deeper and deeper. It's one of those shows, so it's really good. The GameStop thing, it seems like to me, is anyone shocked at the news that GameStop is going to start suffering? Because, I'm sorry, but we're all going to be downloading games. We're happy to play games on mobile devices, which GameStop doesn't have to act as a medium between the developer of a mobile device and then be the holder of that mobile game, and then the person with an iPhone comes and downloads it from GameStop. It doesn't work that way, and that's where so much of it's going. And then Steam is doing better than ever. So it's like, of course, GameStop is going to decline. It's as simple as that. And they expanded so rapidly over the last 10 years. Do you think they were going to sustain those numbers?
What if GameStop starts offering game rentals?
They might do that. I mean, that could help, I guess. But you know,
what am I trying to say? It could not subsidize, help.
It would keep them going
afloat,
and especially since if you've already got a card, then they could literally say to you, if you want, you could just rent that game right now, and you could do rent to own if you wanted to. So they might do that, but I mean,
why don't more stores do that with the games?
Well, I could see why more.
Like if the game turns out to be shit, you could return it and get your money back. But if it turns out to be good, you could rent to own.
Yeah, well, see, I can see why most stores don't do that, but GameStop wouldn't. GameStop shouldn't have any problems with doing that. They should be able to do that like right off the spot. They should be able to just say, "Hey, we're doing this now." So
yeah,
that should I can see why Best Buy wouldn't do it because they don't want to deal with that, and then you got to chase people around and all that. But they should do that right away. I mean, GameStop has over 6,000 stores, which is crazy. The idea that they're going to be able to sustain that's no way. Especially since they think there was an economist who said that they expect the Xbox One and the PS4 to each sell 100 million units by the end of their lifespan. And to me, that sounds crazy because so many people are going mobile. And mobile devices are getting so much stronger in just a few generations. It seems like to me that we'll just be playing a lot of really hardcore games off of our phones.
Gears of War 7 on iPhone 8.
Yeah, I mean, and when you think about it, TVs are all becoming Bluetooth enabled or Wi-Fi enabled more so.
Sony TVs now offer PlayStation Now, where you can just straight up play PS3 games on them.
Yeah, and so what it seems like to me is when you have a smart TV in just a few years, your phone will probably be able to connect to it so you can see whatever's on your phone on your TV. So you'll either be
or
able
use
to
your phone as the controller for the games on the TV.
Yeah. I mean, there'll probably be multiple options. Or Apple will release like an Apple controller, and you can hook it up to your phone, and your phone hooks up.
Well, Apple did make a game console. I couldn't remember. I couldn't tell you what it was called, but
they did?
I do know they made one. It was like not the Nito,
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't called the Nido, but it was something along those lines.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's fascinating.
But it failed so hard that it
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's no surprise. I didn't even know that they did that. So, and I'm pretty big Apple fanboy. I'm looking at my laptop its battery blew out years ago. I haven't turned it on in 2 years, and I refuse to throw it out just because I like things that have an Apple logo on them. You see, Haggard, when I like something just because it has a logo, I admit it.
Okay.
Hint, hint, Star Wars. Just saying. I'm still spiteful.
Hey, I know it was a good movie. If you can't see it, then I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I did see it. I wish I couldn't see it, but I saw it. I wish I was like, I wish I was like Geordie LaForge without his visor on when I saw that. Anyways, okay, so I think that's probably been the show. That was a really quick one. A
literal rush cast.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, we had to rush this one because I got something to do after this. By the way, next episode, Visual Element will be coming. So thank you all.
Yes.
And thank you all very much for the new subscribers. We're delighted and amazed, and we're very happy to have you all on board. Thank you all so very much. This is really incredible. We've been doing this for a year now, very casually and whenever we could. And, we got a really boring response. Nobody seemed to ever care. But we're really grateful that you're all here now, and we hope it continues to grow. So thank you all very much.
And for that, we say namaste. Is the show over? Should I stop? Oh, okay, let me stop now.